Hi, everybody, and welcome to the continuation of Chapter 12, Lesson 11. I'm starting on page 515, and hopefully this lesson doesn't take us too long. It's kind of a culmination of almost like a scavenger hunt of units of measure here. So in questions two through five here, we're going to take a look at what we need to do. So I'm going to skip and sketch, and we'll take a look at the first four problems. Each table shows a pattern for two customary units. Label the columns of each. So customary units are going to be length is going to include inches, feet, and yards. Volume is going to be cups, pints, quarts, gallons, and what am I missing? Weight is going to be pounds, ounces, pounds, and tons. Okay. So our first one is 1 to 2. So I have the relationship here is two items equal one of another item. So this column is 2 times as big as the previous column. So what do I know in customary units that two things will equal one thing? And the one I'm coming up with right now is going to be there are 2 cups in 1 pint. So this is my cups column, and this is my pints column. There possibly might be others in that. In fact, I think pints and quarts do the same thing. If I move on to number 3, which means that then you could have a different answer and still be completely correct. Number 3 for sure. Oh no, I take that back. I think number 3 could also have 2 choices. So 16 to 1. So this side is 16 times bigger than this side. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 16 is 32. 3 times 16 is 48. So we know that this is 16 times larger. So the one that comes to my mind right away is that 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So this could be your ounces and your pounds. Now, I also know, because I've been doing a bunch of videos today, that 16 cups, like a cup of milk, 16 cups equals a gallon. So you could also do cups to gallons here. I think the more popular one, the one that you really need to know more in terms of this lesson, in terms of this chapter, would be that 16 ounces makes a pound. Okay, moving on. Each table shows a pattern for 2 units of time, which I really appreciate that you give me the unit of time. Label the columns of the table. So again, number 4, if we're talking about time, we know 60 minutes. So we know 60 seconds equals 1 minute, which guess what? Totally works here. We also know that 60 minutes equals 1 hour. So both of these would work here. So I'm going to take the first one. I'm going to say these are seconds, and this one is minutes. Oh my goodness, I've destroyed that right now. I'll take a look. We'll just make it MIN and call it a day right now. Okay, so 60 seconds equals 1 minute. 120 seconds equals 2 minutes. You could also do 60 minutes, 2 hours. 60 minutes makes 1 hour, 120 minutes makes 2 hours, and down the chart like that. It doesn't matter which one you do, fill it in with something correct. You cannot do hours to seconds. You can do minutes to seconds, you can do hours to minutes. So that's the only thing that you cannot switch out the minutes part. Okay, 1 to 12, 2 to 24, 3 to 36. Remember, we're talking about units of time. So think a little longer than our minutes and seconds. So if I continued this on, I would get to 24 hours makes 1 day, 7 days make a week, 4 weeks make a month, and 12 months make a year. So 12 months, 1 year. 24 months, 2 years. So this one is going to be years and months. Ta-da! Not too bad. Like I said, kind of a scavenger hunt of information. I'm thinking about it, using the information given you to figure out what you need. Let's see if I can get the last bottom questions here. With the directions is always helpful. And there we go. Number 6. Label the columns of the table. 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 30, 4 to 40, 5 to 50. So I know that this has to be one side, the larger side is 10 times greater than the smaller side. 1 times 10 is 10, 2 times 10 is 20. So I'm looking for something that a single unit needs 10 of another unit to create. So I'm going to start kind of small here. And I'm going to say that this side is going to be centimeters and millimeters. So I know 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. And the centimeter is about the length across your little fingernail. And a millimeter is about the size of the point of a pencil. So it takes 10 points of a pencil to cross your little finger, roughly speaking. This could be several different things, though. This could be decimeters to meters. In liquid, let's see, milliliters. We're really not doing the deciliter. I think this one is the easiest one to go with, but it is not the only one for sure. All right, moving on to number 7. We're still using metric system here. 1 to 100, 2 to 200, 3 to 300. So it's going to be 100 times greater. Again, I'm going to start simple here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to take that back and start again and say meters to centimeters. Because it takes 100 centimeters to make a meter. 200 centimeters makes 2 meters. This could just as easily be meters to centiliters, I guess. It's not the only one that could be in terms of 100. Again, I think this is one of the easier ones, but it is not by any means the only one. So you can go back and you can dig through your metric system if you like. Number 8, list the number of pairs for the table in exercise 6. Describe the relationship between the numbers in each pair. Okay, so we kind of already talked about it, but just to refresh your memory here, the number pair would be 1 and 10, 2 and 20, 3 and 30, 4 and 50, 4 and 40, and 5 and 50. And their relationship is that it's 10 times greater. So 1 centimeter is 10 times greater than 1 millimeter, or 10 times the difference. Because in order to get 10 over here and 20 over here, you have to multiply by 10 to get them. So it's a 10 times greater than. Number 7 is 100 times greater. So that's what they're asking. All right. Let's keep moving here and see what's on 516. Let's do 9 and 10 and see where it leaves us. Oh, what's the error? Maria wrote weeks as the label for the first column of the table and years as the second column. The second column described her error. So she said this was weeks and this was years. So she was saying that 1 week equals 52 years. That is not correct. But she's on the right track though. So what was her mistake? Well, she just mislabeled her chart. Where she should have put years, she had put weeks, and where she put weeks, she should have put years. So 1 year is 52 weeks, 2 years is 104 weeks, and you can go on from there. You can describe that error. Her error actually was not unheard of. She just mislabeled the column. Okay, number 10. Verify the reasoning of others. The table shows a pattern for 2 metric units. Lou labels the columns meters and millimeters. Zaina labels them liters and milliliters. Whose answer makes sense? Whose answer is nonsense? Explain. All right. So he labels the columns meters and millimeters. Well, if you go back and you will find in the table that 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. So right now, Lou's good. That is correct. Zaina labels liters and milliliters. Let me change colors here. We'll do Zaina in blue. So she says liters and milliliters. Well, if you go back and you find 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. And she is also correct. This table would work for either one. So whose answer makes sense? Well, they both make sense. Whose answer is nonsense? Neither one of them is nonsense. It's just how they interpreted the graph. When you're using a metric system, you're going to have everything goes by base 10. So it's going to be either times 10, times 100, times 1,000. And there you go. I don't know what to tell you. This is the second time in a row I've seen a nonsense, make sense or nonsense question make sense both ways. Okay. Closing this one out, let's see what else we got. 11 and 12. And that is it, I believe. Okay. 730 and 3 and 1. Oh, I am missing something here. Hang on. I'm going to have to redo that. Yeah. Look at the following number pairs. 1 and 365, 2 and 730, and 3 and 1095. The number pairs describe the relationship between which 2 units of time? Explain. Well, I hope if you saw a chart that said, we'll leave the top line for words, 1 and 365, 2 and 730, and 3 and 1095, you would come to know that this would be years in terms of days. 365 days equals 1 year. So what's the relationship here? Well, they're talking about number of days in a year, but I guess the mathematical relationship is that it's 1 year is 365 times greater than 1 day, because it takes 365 days to equal 1 year. Explain it in your words. But hopefully you saw the relationship here between days and a year. Number 12. The table shows patterns for some units of measurement. Write the correct labels in each table. All right, so we got 1 and 12, 2 to 24. So this would be a good one for months and years, except I don't have months and years. So what else uses 12 to make one thing? What else would be 2 items making 24? So, you see, I'm tempted to I'm going to come back to this one because I want to think about it for a minute. Let's go to something a little simpler. 1 and 24 for sure is going to be hours and days. So let's go ahead and take off a couple. So we know 24 hours makes 1 day. 1 to 4 here could be quarts to gallons or cups to quarts. But I have quarts to gallons, so a gallon, 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So, oh, every time I do the 12 one, I always want to think half a day, 12 hours. That's never what I want. Inches to feet. Oh my gosh. 12 inches makes 1 foot. And you don't use pounds and ounces. If you did, you would have 1 pound is 16 ounces. Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous. I can't believe I missed that. Okay. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps you, and don't ever be afraid to move on to another question if it doesn't just come out and show itself to you to be the answer. Anyway, guys, I miss you. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'm going to start closing this out, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.